Your morning coffee, that first cup you pour before the house is even awake. It's already doing more than waking you up. But there's something you can stir into it, something that fits on the tip of a teaspoon, that changes what that coffee does once it hits your bloodstream. And I'm not talking about some high-end powder you need to order online. I'm talking about a spice that's probably sitting in your cabinet right now, behind the cinnamon, maybe next to the paprika. Turmeric. Specifically, the golden root inside it, curcumin, and the way it behaves when it meets hot coffee. Now here's what caught my attention years ago. Researchers found that curcumin interferes with the way damaged cells feed themselves. It disrupts their energy pathways, not in a violent, scorched earth way, but more like quietly cutting the supply line. At the same time, it activates repair enzymes in healthy cells, the ones responsible for fixing the little nicks and breaks in your DNA that accumulate just from living, from breathing city air, from the stress of a tough week. Both things, in one spice. And your coffee? It's not just a vehicle. The heat, the oils, the specific compounds in brewed coffee, they actually help curcumin become more available to your body. So you're not just adding flavor, you're unlocking something. That's what this video is about. Exactly how to do it, exactly how much, what to combine it with so your body actually absorbs it. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. Turmeric on its own passes right through you, most of it, unless you know the trick. And I'll give you that in the next few minutes. So before we go further, if you've never been on this channel before, this is what we do here. Practical kitchen counter relief. Things you can make tonight. Things that work with your body instead of against it. If that sounds like something you've been looking for, the kind of place that respects what you already know and just adds to it, hit subscribe. Stay for 1 or 2 more videos after this one and see if it fits. That's all I'd ask. All right, let's talk about why this actually works. And I want to keep this the way I'd explain it if you asked me over the counter while I was making my own cup. Curcumin, the active part of turmeric, does something unusual. Most compounds in food either support your healthy cells or they interfere with damaged ones. Curcumin does both simultaneously. On the healthy cell side, it boosts a protein called NRF2. Think of NRF2 as your cell's maintenance crew. When NRF2 is activated, your cells produce more antioxidant enzymes, more detox enzymes, more of the repair machinery that fixes oxidative damage to your DNA. The little everyday damage that comes from inflammation, from UV exposure, from processed food, your body handles it better. On the other side, the damaged cell side, curcumin does something elegant. It downregulates NF-κB, which is a signaling pathway that damaged cells hijack to keep themselves alive and growing. Without that signal, those cells lose their ability to resist apoptosis, which is your body's natural program for clearing out cells that have gone wrong. They literally can't sustain themselves. That's what researchers mean when they say curcumin starves those cells. It cuts off the communication they depend on. Now, here's where coffee comes in, and it's not just convenience. Coffee contains compounds called diterpenes, cafestol and kawiol, and these have their own anti-inflammatory effects. But more importantly for us, brewed coffee provides heat and fat-soluble compounds that help curcumin dissolve. See, curcumin is fat-soluble. It doesn't dissolve well in water. So if you just stir turmeric into a glass of cold water, most of it passes through your gut without being absorbed. Your body barely registers it. But when you stir it into hot coffee, especially if you add one more thing, which I'll get to, the heat helps the curcumin disperse, and the natural oils in coffee give it something to bind to. You go from maybe 5% absorption to something meaningfully higher. I figured this out the hard way, actually. For about a year, I was putting turmeric in everything. Smoothies, salads, even just water with lemon, and feeling like nothing was different. Nothing. Then I started adding it to my coffee with a specific fat and a pinch of black pepper. And within about 10 days, I noticed the stiffness in my hands in the morning was different. Not gone, but different. Less sharp. That was the first sign that it was actually getting into my system instead of just passing through. So let me give you the exact method, the one that actually works. Here's what you need. A cup of hot coffee, brewed however you like it, drip, French press, pour over, doesn't matter. 1/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric, that's your starting dose. 1 tiny pinch of black pepper, and I mean tiny, like what you'd pick up between 2 fingers. And 1 teaspoon of either coconut oil or grass-fed butter, or, if you're watching your fat, even a splash of full-fat coconut milk works. The black pepper is the piece most people miss. It contains piperine, and piperine increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. That's not a typo. 20 times more curcumin gets into your bloodstream when piperine is present. Just a pinch. You won't even taste it behind the coffee. The fat, the coconut oil or butter, gives the curcumin something to dissolve into. Remember, it's fat-soluble. Without fat, it sits on the surface. With fat, it integrates into the liquid, and your gut can actually pull it in. So, pour your coffee while it's hot. Add the 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Add the pinch of black pepper. Add your fat of choice. Stir well. I mean, really stir it for about 20 seconds, or use a small frother if you have one. It turns this beautiful deep gold color. Honestly, it looks like a fancy latte. Drink it as you normally would. First thing in the morning is ideal because your gut is empty, absorption is higher, and it sets an anti-inflammatory tone for the whole day. That's it. That's the base method. Now let me tell you about the mistakes I see people make with this, and one of them almost derailed me too. First one, too much turmeric too fast. If you jump straight to a full teaspoon, your stomach might rebel. Some people get nausea, some get acid reflux. Start with a 1/4 teaspoon for the first week. If that sits well, move to 1/2 teaspoon the next week. Most people do great at 1/2 teaspoon long term. A full teaspoon is fine if you tolerate it, but there's no extra prize for using more. More isn't better here. Consistency is better. Second thing, and this one frustrated me. People add turmeric to cold brew and wonder why nothing happens. Cold brew doesn't have the heat to help the curcumin disperse. If cold brew is your thing, that's fine, but warm the turmeric separately in a small splash of hot water with your fat and pepper. Let it bloom for 30 seconds, then pour your cold brew over it. Works beautifully. Oh, and one more. If you're using a turmeric that's been sitting in your spice rack for 3 years, the curcumin content drops over time. It oxidizes. If your turmeric smells like cardboard instead of that warm, earthy pepper smell, replace it. Fresh matters here. I buy mine in small jars from the local co-op, or even from the bulk bins at the grocery store, so it turns over faster. Actually, you know what made the biggest difference for me? I started buying whole turmeric root, the fresh kind that looks like little orange fingers, and grating about a 1/4 inch directly into the coffee. The potency is night and day compared to the old powdered stuff. If your grocery store carries it, and a lot of them do now near the ginger, try it once. You'll see what I mean. Let's talk about what to expect, because this isn't instant and I want to be straight with you about that. The first thing most people notice, usually within the first week or two, is a subtle shift in morning stiffness. If you wake up and your joints feel like they need 20 minutes to warm up before you can grip the coffee pot properly, that window starts shrinking. It's not dramatic at first, it's just you notice one morning that you reached for the cabinet without thinking about it. The second thing, and this takes a bit longer, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, is a general settling of background inflammation. People describe it differently. Some say their hands don't swell as much by evening. Some say the dull ache behind their knees after sitting at the kitchen table for an hour isn't as loud. It's not a silencing, it's a quieting. The cellular repair benefits, the DNA protection, the NRF2 activation, those you won't feel directly. Those are long game, behind-the-scenes work, but they're happening. Every day you do this, you're giving your cells better tools for maintenance. Think of it like oiling a hinge every morning. You don't hear the difference until the day you realize the door stopped squeaking and you can't remember when. And look, if you're over 50, if you're in your 60s, this matters more, not less. Because at this stage of life, your body's natural repair systems slow down. They don't stop. They slow. So anything that supports them, that gives them a boost each morning, that's not trivial. That's meaningful. The woman at my local farmer's market, she sells turmeric and ginger root. She told me her regulars who do this morning coffee thing, they come back and tell her things. Not miracle stories, just quiet improvements. A hand that opens easier, a knee that cooperates on the stairs. That's what this is. Quiet improvement. And I think that's worth a teaspoon of effort every morning. I want to add a couple of variations, because your coffee isn't the only way to deliver this, and some of you might prefer a different approach. Variation 1. Golden coffee with cinnamon. Same base, coffee, quarter teaspoon turmeric, pinch of black pepper, your fat, but add a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Not cassia cinnamon, which is the cheap one in most grocery stores. Ceylon cinnamon. It's lighter in color, thinner bark, and it doesn't carry the coumarin load that cassia does. Why? Ceylon cinnamon has its own blood sugar stabilizing effect, and it rounds out the flavor so beautifully that you'll forget there's turmeric in there. If you're someone whose energy dips mid-morning, this version helps level that out. Variation 2. For people who don't drink coffee. Take a cup of hot water or, even better, a strong brewed black tea or rooibos. Same turmeric, same pepper, same fat. Add a half teaspoon of raw honey after it cools just slightly. You get the benefits without the caffeine. The honey adds its own enzymatic compounds, and it makes the earthy taste almost dessert-like. Variation 3, and this is my favorite for cold mornings. Make your coffee as usual. In a separate small pot, warm a quarter cup of full-fat coconut milk. Stir in the turmeric, the pepper, and a tiny grate of fresh ginger root, like a quarter inch of the root, grated fine. Let it simmer for about 2 minutes. Then pour it into your coffee. This is basically a golden latte with a coffee base, and I'm telling you, on a January morning when the house is cold and your joints are stiff, this is the one. This is the cup that makes you close your eyes and just breathe. Now, a moment to be honest with you about something important, because I care about you doing this safely. If you're taking blood-thinning medication, warfarin, aspirin therapy, anything your doctor put you on to manage clotting, turmeric at higher doses can amplify that effect. A quarter teaspoon in your morning coffee is generally considered safe, but I'd want you to mention it to your doctor at your next visit. Not because it's dangerous at that amount, but because your doctor can keep an eye on your levels and make sure everything stays in balance. That's just smart. If you're on diabetes medication and managing your blood sugar tightly, turmeric can lower blood sugar mildly. Again, at the doses we're talking about, it's gentle. But if you're someone who's finely calibrated, just be aware. Track your numbers the first week. See how they respond. You know your body. If you're on medication for acid reflux or you have active gallbladder issues, high doses of turmeric can aggravate these. The quarter teaspoon coffee method is mild enough that most people tolerate it well, but if you notice heartburn or upper abdominal discomfort, pull back. Try every other day instead of every day. See how it settles. And here's the bigger picture. If you have unexplained weight loss, persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, any new lump or mass, blood where it shouldn't be, or pain that wakes you from sleep regularly, please see your doctor. These are signals that need proper evaluation. No spice replaces that. No morning drink replaces imaging, blood work, or a trained set of hands examining you. What we're doing here is supporting your body's daily maintenance. We're giving it better tools for the everyday work. We're not treating disease. We're tending the garden so it stays healthy. There's a difference, and it matters. Okay? Okay. So, before I let you go, let me land this cleanly so you can remember it without writing anything down. Tomorrow morning, quarter teaspoon of turmeric, tiny pinch of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of coconut oil or butter into your hot coffee. Stir for 20 seconds. Drink it on an empty stomach if you can. Do it for 2 weeks before you judge it. The first few days you might not notice anything. By day 10 or 12, pay attention to your mornings. How your hands feel when you first open them. How your knees feel on the first trip downstairs. If you want to level up, fresh turmeric root, grated. Ceylon cinnamon for blood sugar stability. A splash of coconut milk and ginger on cold mornings. But the base is simple. A teaspoon, a pinch, a stir. Done before your toast is ready. You know, when I started doing this, I thought it was going to be one of those things I'd try for a week and forget. But it became a part of the morning. Not because I'm disciplined, because I started noticing the mornings I skipped. The stiffness came back louder on those days, and that was enough to keep me reaching for that little jar of turmeric every single morning. Some habits stick because they lecture you. This one sticks because your body tells you it's working. If this helped you, if something I said made you think, I want to try that, do me a small favor. Hit the like button. Not for me, for the algorithm. That little thumbs up tells YouTube this video mattered to someone, and it pushes it in front of one more person who might be waking up stiff tomorrow morning, wondering if there's something simple they can do. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, a friend, a sister, a neighbor, send them this video. You don't need to explain it, just send the link. They'll understand when they hear it. That's your golden cup. Make it tomorrow. Let it become your morning, and see what your body tells you in 2 weeks. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, gently.